slowing these things down, but we're not, and it's leading to that right there. Why are you so worried about him dropping out? Your vice president is running. She, I would imagine, is only going to continue what you've seen from your current president that you're worried about leaving. So if you're getting that in return, why are you smacking yourself in the face, crying in your car about it? Oh, that's right, because you've been radicalized by social media and the television. I know, it's just one side that we think has been radicalized. I'm sorry, you've been from a guy who's cried in here more than once. It's not the crime. The smacking yourself in the face and the fear that your life is over because he dropped out. Yeah, homie, you done been radicalized. We do have the Stansbury Cup. That is Wednesday, and I'm going to get a foursome in right now. I'll take caller 15, that at 330-450-7625, or toll free at 800-243-7625 on that foursome for the Stansbury Cup Wednesday at Raintree. If you don't win, you can get your team signed up at WRQK.com. And we will sit down and talk to Scott from winningfornextyear.com, get a look at the Guardians and also the Cavaliers extending Evan Mobley. We'll talk about both with Scott next here on Rock 106.9. We have to congratulate Scott Shields, who won his way into playing in the Stansbury Cup this Wednesday, that at Raintree Golf and Event Center. Our golf outing opened up a few more slots for you guys as well. You can get signed up at WRQK.com. Scott won his way in, courtesy of Quonset. We appreciate those guys being part of our program as well. And every Monday, 8 o'clock, part of our program is the co-founder of WaitingForNextYear.com. That's Scott. And he is also findable on his X at WFNY. Scott, my man, how are you this Monday morning?
Doing well, man. Another weekend in the books flew by. A lot of family stuff to tackle, but another week to tackle here. How are you?
Yeah, they're never long enough, the weekends there. I'm doing pretty good this morning, man, and I'm interested to talk to you as we got the Olympics getting underway here, I believe, this week. What's your thoughts on Team USA basketball right now? I mean, is this going to be, will they be seen as dream team-ish, or will it just be like, we got like the best guys in the world? I mean, they almost feel afterthought-ish somehow, and it's coming up a little disrespectful, if I'm honest.
Yeah, well, the three, chasing the allure.
Lightning in the bottle.
Historical moments, transitional, that was, I mean, there was a lot to be done there, and that's why there's documentaries around it, right? Yep. I mean, the other side of it is the rest of the world's kind of caught up a little bit, and maybe not fully, but some of these other countries have some really talented basketball players. A lot of whom are in the NBA, so it's not like they're, back in the day, like Tony Kukoc was like the only NBA player who played for like another team that people really knew of from a household. So games are going to be more competitive than I think fans will like to see. I'll be shocked if they don't win the gold. But it'll be, if they think they can kind of sleepwalk through three quarters like they did the other night, and then rely on some heroics to win and still come away with a medal, I think they'd be silly. But I imagine once the games actually start, I think you'll see it.
Yeah, Joel Embiid had told American basketball fans, be careful. What a lot of you guys are doing is relying on history. These guys aren't as young as they used to be. They got big names, but they're not as young as they used to be. And the rest of the world, and to your credit, he had said, he's like, they're starting to catch up. I mean, if you look at Denver with Jokic and there's plenty of international players who, I think you're right. I think the competition is, and we have seen what happens to Team USA basketball with that as well.
I mean, real quick, 3 of the first 6 guys drafted this past draft were from France, right?
Look at that.
So I think they're maybe chasing a little to think you can, take some of these teams lightly. I think would be a huge mistake. I think Joel is right.
To playing Detroit this evening, I believe.
That did not happen. You need to see better than 3 and 7 over the last. The only saving grace there is, Minnesota, went 5 and 5 over that same stretch, so didn't really gain a lot of ground. So the Bats got to wake up. You and I have been talking about pitching here on this show in terms of addition hitting standpoint, but again, they'll need somebody beyond Tanner and Lively to if they're going to have a good run here. I do like their chances to still win the division. I think you have 4 games or 5 games doesn't seem like a lot, but when everybody's playing everybody these days, Chicago and Detroit, your way to a win. I think the parity will give them a chance here, but yeah, you gotta score more than 2 runs over the last or 1 run, right? There was 1 yesterday, and they got blanked the day before. You gotta hit the ball, and I suspect Boston, middling, they're middle of the AL East, so I think it should be fine. But again, you gotta hit the ball. You got to score runs if you want to win, Dan.
Yeah.
I think this team will figure out a way to do that.
See, that's why we put you on the air, man. It's the good takes like that. You got to score. You got to outscore your opponent.
On a limb, right?
Now, what I don't want to let you off the phone without talking to you about is the extension of Evan Mobley. So there had been some, speculation on what was going to happen with this roster. Now, all of a sudden, you got Donovan done, and now Evan Mobley locked up. I believe they still have to finalize this, but it's been agreed upon. 5-year, $224 million. All last season, everybody was like, man, this kid's going to have to become a scoring threat. He's going to have to put the ball. Fans won, right? Myself included. But Evan, in those later games, he did. He started to get a little bit more confident. He started putting the ball in the hoop a little bit more. And so now all of a sudden, you got Donovan Mitchell solidified, and now Evan Mobley. What do you make of this move? You like it?
Yeah, it was a natural move. Fans who want to make it sound like they're the ones paying him,
pocket watching.
The NBA. This is the NBA. Either you pay these guys or you lose them. And this is the going rate for a top level player of his age at his position. And that's the way it goes. I think we're a lot harder on our players sometimes than we should be. He is very, very good.
Very good.
I think people were, the talks of the next Kevin Garnett stuff were probably a little overblown just because I don't think he has that level of aggressiveness. But from a skill standpoint, he's every bit of it. And, I do think he's going to be playing a lot more center this year. And I think you're going to start seeing some of that scoring take off here a little bit every day when you have a backcourt like Mitchell and Garland. But you have it, right? And, among one of the better defenders in the league, and if he can flip the switch on the offensive side, you're looking at a 20-10 guy for the next several years. And
that sounds good.
By the end of this contract, Dan, what he's being paid is going to be lapsed considerably by others.
Oh, yeah, it's how sports works. Yeah, everybody clutches the pearls over the guy that signs, but then the next 3 guys get another $40 million on top of it, and it just that number just constantly moves. I appreciate you, Scott. That's Scott from winningfornextyear.com, and you can find him on his X platform as well at WFNY Scott. Buddy, we'll talk to you again Monday at 8.
Thanks as always, man. Take care.
Always good to get his opinion on stuff. Just so everybody's aware, Evan Mobley apparently averaged 15.7 points, 9.5 rebounds, and 1.5 blocks last season for the Cavaliers. Also posted career-high shooting percentages at 57.9% overall there, and then from 37.3 from 3 and 71.9% from the free throw line. So that's why the Cavaliers felt like, let's keep the big fella under wraps in Cleveland as a Cavalier. It turns out more and more of you are headed for a sleep divorce. Let's look at these again here next on the Stansbury Show. I'll rock the bank with you 9 a.m. Get you paid out with a $1,000 keyword. Scott Shields won his way into playing in a foursome. That for the Stansbury Cup Wednesday at Raintree Golf and Event Center. Quonset offering up that foursome. We appreciate that. All right, apparently a lot of you are headed towards a divorce, but not a divorce of your marriage. Apparently what you're headed towards, this is becoming more and more popular. We've talked about this before. Sleep divorces. Apparently they're on the rise. Because there's always been the debate of how much sleep does a person need. Now, there are people who believe, I only need 4 hours, but all the science, all the data, every study run is like, you're not at your best. Now, I wake up pretty early for work, as so do some of you. Canton is a very early working city, I see. I have found that if I am rested, more often than not, you get a better day. There's been plenty of Fridays where I've come in here, no sleep, wing it, and wing it a little, and it's like, it actually kind of worked. But you can't bank on that. Getting away this way, that's not the same thing, right? I find the more rested I am, it's me in bed in the morning. Or at night, I mean. You know what I mean? Because my name is attached to this. It's my performance. It's like, I'd like for it to be as good as at least what my abilities would allow, right? At least like that. And I feel like the more sleep I get, the better that goes. And I would imagine that's probably true of you and what you do as well. So what they're saying is more and more people are noticing, I'm not getting a great night's rest when I'm sleeping next to someone. Apparently, there's been a large spike of sleep divorces as of late. The celebs are all in, and I told you before, this is normally how they get you on stuff, where it's like, oh, that's weird. Oh, your favorite celebrity does it. Now I like it, right? But apparently, Cameron Diaz has gone as far as to say, we need to normalize this. A sleep divorce, for anybody that doesn't understand what it is you have individual sleeping arrangements in your home. Right? So you're married. You're living together. You eat dinner together, you watch movies together, you do everything together. You maybe, well, obviously, if you're going to have sex together. But then, high five, you go to your room, I go to mine, everybody gets to sleep solo. Now, I don't live with somebody currently. I live alone. I don't sleep next to somebody so often that it's like, damn it, I need a break from this, right? Like, that's not my situation. I'm a little spoiled in the sense that I spend so much of my time sleeping alone in my own bed that it makes me wish more often than not, it's like somebody in here might be all right. And throughout my life, that has led me to putting somebody in that bed for the night versus sleeping alone. And some mistakes were made like that. Right? Plenty of mistakes have been made like that. I don't know why I look at this like it's so strange or foreign. Because it really wasn't in my life. This is what I mean. When I was growing up, my mom's parents lived in my neighborhood, and pretty much all of my mom's family lived in my neighborhood. So it was very common for me to go across the street to my aunt and uncle's or ride my bike down the street to my grandma's to spend all summer there because they had the boat on the lake and the shores, and it was just fun to be at their house. My grandma and grandpa slept in different bedrooms. We thought it was strange when we were kids. I was like, that's weird. And I remember asking my grandmother, Betty, you and Earl are married, right? Yeah. Well, why don't you guys sleep next to one another? My mom and dad do that. But I can't tell you how many times my dad in the middle of the night would wake up, go downstairs and sleep on the couch willingly. Oh, your mother. She's just restless in there. You know what I mean? And all this stuff. So, I guess I can't be all that. I mean, I've seen it in my own life. I don't know why I think this is strange. And I think it is because I've never been married. I have lived with a woman. It's different than being married. I know it's close and all of this stuff, and it's like, nah, there's a difference. There's a difference, right? And I think if I had been sleeping next to somebody every night for the last 15 years, then I'd be like, all right, I might be ready for it. But it's a little odd to me because in my last relationship, I had to beg to sleep next to somebody. Versus like, will you just get on your side of the bed, please? I had to beg that woman to see me. So this is a problem I don't quite understand because I haven't really been there. But according to the American Academy of Sleep Medicine, AASM, 29% of U.S. residents are opting to sleep separately from their partners. Dr. Seema Khosla said, we know that poor sleep can worsen your mood, and those who are sleep deprived are more likely to argue with their partners. Quote, there may be some resentment towards the person who's causing sleep disruption, which can negatively impact relationships. They say here, quote, getting a good night's sleep is important for both health and happiness. They say zero surprise that some couples choose to sleep apart for their overall well-being. All right. So, guys, I can't speak for ladies, but I can speak for men a little bit. Right? You know how, like, when there's a movie on later or something on a streamer and you're like, all right, well, we had sex. And now I have to pretend that I'm enjoying the fact that she's now laying on top of this arm so long that I can no longer have any feeling in it. Right? So watch now as I try to slide this out underneath her back so I can get downstairs and watch the rest of whatever the hell it is I wanted to watch before we came up here to do this. Right? So like every guys knows that you gotta like wait her out there. Right? So hopefully you provided the orgasm that wears her out to where she goes to sleep and now you get to go play Xbox a little, right? I've been there. I have been there. Right? So now imagine it's separate bedrooms. How do you just like tiptoe out of there? Sorry. Snuggling? Nah, I'm good. That's too much like sleeping in the bed. See ya. I mean, just walk down the hallway. How do you do it? You're kind of turning that relationship into a little bit into roommate-ish. I've always said, and maybe I misunderstand it, maybe this is why I have so many problems in relationships. Maybe it's because of how much I misunderstand them. It's not. It's because I keep picking the same woman over and over and over and over again because I'm an idiot. But, like, that's my problem. But maybe I just don't understand it. Because I've always said, I felt like, no, that relationship is supposed to be different than any other relationship I have. If my buddy comes to my house tonight, knocks on the door and says, hey, she threw me out. You think I open my bedroom door and be like, hop in, Holmes? No, that ain't what happens. I give him the blanket, I give him the pillow, spare bedroom right there, the couch is out there. If you feel like watching TV, grab whatever you want out of the fridge. Because that's a friendship. A relationship with another person is like, I want you in. I spent all of this time trying to get you into this bed. Why on earth would I spend any time trying to get you out of it? Under a half hour, I'll rock the bank with you, pass out that first $1,000 keyword. That for your money. Now, apparently what a lot of you would spend that $1,000 on is a mattress. What we've been talking about is sleep divorces. Apparently 29% of couples in America are already doing this, more and more of them on the way. This is living together, cohabitating, but you have your own sleeping room. Or maybe just even a separate bed in the same room. Some couples are doing that. Just looking for their own. That I think, I like that more or less. I don't know, if I'm going to sleep in my own bed, then let me have my own room. So that way, if the nightlight, if I'm reading, doesn't bother you, if I want to watch this, listen to this, I mean, if we're just going to do that, then we're going to do that. But apparently, this is becoming more and more popular. Now, nothing is new. As I said, when I was growing up, my grandparents did this when I was a kid. Somebody else found this article for me at sleepreviewmag.com, but apparently, a book was written, A Cultural History of Twin Beds. And, they say, let me see, the rise and fall of twin beds is popular sleeping arrangement for married couples between 1870 and 1970 is what that book kind of looks into there. So again, and I always say, and I'm, mostly accurate about this, most things are not new. Most, things you see or an argument or this, most things aren't really all that new. I worry about what it means, but I'm not married. You know what I mean? So what the hell do I know? I know once upon a time my parents, not that they got everything right, because God knows that they didn't, but once upon a time my parents had taken their television out of the room. And they felt like, no, that room is for something else. That room is about couples coming together and having a place to talk privately away from the children. And it's about, yes, sleep, and yes, sex and intimacy and all of those things. And so don't just have this as the room where it's like, oh, we're in here now, we're allowed to ignore one another now, and they took the TV out. And they felt like that helped their marriage. I don't know if that would be beneficial for everybody. It seemed to help Dean and Sue. Right? Not that you can apply that to everybody, but I was like, oh, okay, so like I kind of, you are who you are, and you are who you come from and all of that. So I always just kind of looked at it like that. Just like, take you, and I guess you could take me first. In the building at 4:10. Show doesn't start till 6, right? So sometimes that can happen. That's pretty early. I'm not here every day at 4:10. Today I was because of some of the things I knew I had to be talking about. So I was like, get in there. Make sure we have everything we want pulled up, right? Kind of pulled up. But my sleep schedule has been annoying for other people that I have been in relationships with. I remember one of my exes had spent the night at my house for the first time. And the alarm went off. And she was like, oh my God, your job is so stupid. And like, she was furious about it. And so I'm willing to bet had she had her own bedroom at my place that she was spending, that would have been an easier thing for her. Now this came in from my, I guess what we'll call X now, otherwise known as Twitter. Thing is, where I've been happily married 13 years. I sleep with my head at the end of the bed and she sleeps normal. So it's like, are you going camp style there, right? It's like, because you're not supposed to, line up thing there. Embrace the holding on to somebody thing there while I'm sleeping. I kind of like it. I dated this woman. Dude, this is how bad some guys can be. I dated this woman once, right? And so when you get into a relationship with somebody, you have to sleep with them the first time at some point, right? So we did. So we slept together, and she spent the night. I'm not you got to get out, I got an early meeting. Like, especially at my age now. Like, if I'm sleeping with you, then I'm probably not doing it unless I'm okay with you being here Saturday morning. But I spent a lot of years doing it the other way. I'm probably not as interested in doing that now, right? So anyway, so we sleep together, and she spent the night. And I fell asleep before she did. But apparently I had my arm around her, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and I could hear noise. And I rolled over, and she was like whimpering a little. I said, are you okay? Is everything okay? She goes, yeah, I'm doing one of those happy cries. I said, what? She goes, you wouldn't believe how few men actually are willing to embrace you after having sex with you. What? I was like, this is rare? She was like, more rare than it should be. Dated douchebags before me, and then dated me, so she continued the streak of dating douchebags there. So like that kind of worked out. But I was shocked by that. I was like, wait, this is abnormal? Because it kind of reminds me of COVID a little bit. Remember what everybody said about COVID? One of the things people was like, I miss hugging, the embrace, oh my, I miss. And there is something that feels good. Guys, I know, it doesn't make you a simp, buddy. You're supposed to love your wives. So let's not let the Johns and who are like, fake tough online, like make us think differently about this. You're supposed to love your wife. You ever have a hard day? Terrible day. Oh, I quit. Oh, I got stressed out. But you get home, and there she is. And she puts her arms around you, hugs you, tells you everything's going to be okay. And you can feel that stress just melt off the side of the body and fall to the wayside. Human embrace does that. Why would I look to get rid of that in my bed every night? It just makes me, I don't know, I'm confused by it. And I think it really is. It's been a long time since I've lived with a woman. My ex and I dated just under 6 years. We never lived together. It was the subject matter of many, 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 many arguments. And so since, and then here we are, right? But like, I would be looking for more of that, not less of it. That embrace feels good. There's comfort in there. There is calmness that is delivered in those moments. And I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but I can run a little high. I'm a race car in the red, Vincent, right? Yeah, I'm a mushroom cloud weighing MFer, right? Like, I'm that dude. And so, like, I need a little bit of that calmness. Everything's going to be okay. Relax. Let's just go to bed. Just rock the bank, and we'll do it again after 10 a.m. Josh in for Teresa again today. Stick around, check him out. Grab that next Rock the Bank $1,000 keyword. Looking ahead for tomorrow's program, new Turd Tuesday. Looks like there's new Jelly Roll we might be able to get you. New Dorothy, female-fronted rock band there. T-Pain's got a new one out. That's a cover. Let me see what else might be in here for us tomorrow here. New Highly Suspect, maybe? Maybe. Might get us into that one. Which, you know, a little privacy isn't the worst idea. Man, you know, I'll tell you what's crazy about this subject for me, is that I don't like it, yet everything in my life screams that I would. There are moments where it's like, oh, dude, I'm a little lonely right now. Sure, of course, I'm human. It happens. It's not my default position. As, you know, my friends were friends with him. Like, he's not going to call you a lot. He's not going to, right? Like, that's not, like, if you stay active with him, you're friends with him. But, like, if you're really waiting on Dan to call you, like, my brother will tell you, like, if David doesn't call me, we're never speaking ever again. Like, it's just, I'm just that way. I wish I wasn't, but I am, right? So I kind of like being alone. I've gone out of my way. So you would think I'd be all about this. I've just gone the other way, which is I've lived alone more often than just having my own bedroom. And I've said to people before that I think living alone is important. I really do. You get to know yourself really well. You get to find out what it is you know really well. Something goes wrong, you can't look at the other person, you're squashing the bug, you're doing this, you're doing the laundry, you're cooking this, you're making that. So you end up learning a lot. You end up learning a lot about you. And being on your own is one of those things people are not great at. I've said it before this way, and it's true. I know so many guys that moved out of their mom's house and straight into their wife's house and never really got to see who they are. I'm sure women have done that too, left their parents' house and into the, right? I'm sure that's happened too. And I've said, I think it's important to live alone. It's self-awareness is big, man. Now, you can overshoot it and live alone too long. And I think I did. Because then it gets to the point of like, no, what's mine is mine. And I don't care about my possessions. I don't care about my money. You can take it all, right? Take all the possessions, take all the money. But like that isolation, that solace that comes with, I can be alone with my thoughts here is important to me. Too important. And something that I probably should be more movable on. Now, I also found this article about separate beds. Because I had always remembered that it was the Brady Bunch was like the first time you saw a husband and a wife in bed together. It's not technically, I think there was another show in like the early 40s, something that had been on, and the woman on the program had gotten pregnant in real life, and so they started to write it into the thing she was on. Mary Kay and Johnny is what I'm referencing there. That's way before my time. But as television was kicking off in the September of like 69, right, because that's kind of when that happens, there was a gossip columnist, Earl Wilson, and he had an interview with Florence Henderson, who was promoting the Brady Bunch, a new